Anybody, once we go live, we are out there on the internet. People can start watching and tuning in as we're finishing this last little bit of setup. We'll do.
Hey, that's us.
Do you see us?
That's us.
Are we out there?
You're on the internet.
Need to do Audacity.
Brett is on already. Brett, how am I sounding out there?
Brett's on there?
Don't you have a kid? Like, aren't you supposed to be doing stuff with your kid?
Man, that's a quick one. All right, let's see here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a quick testy of the old microphone. Play that back. Nope. Let's do Rodecaster. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. That sounds
that
much
looks
better.
beautiful.
That looks
The best sound waves I've ever seen today.
good. Yeah. So I'll just have to go through the Rodecaster on that one. Check 1 2. Yeah, we're good. All right, so that's teed up. One more thing to tee up here. Hey, anybody that's in there on Facebook World or whatever, say hi. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here. And we will be starting in just a second.
John's got to share it to the pizza gang.
I got to do that every time. Adam, you ever make pizzas? You ever like home make pizza?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I started it in COVID and I'm like addicted to it.
You do like English muffin pizzas?
No. What's different about an English muffin from
Nooks and crannies.
True, right? What
Just peanut butter, or not peanut butter, jelly and butter on my English muffin.
I mean, it's got to be a different recipe. Like, there's got to be
else.
some like egg white or something in there, right? Like, what's making it different than like pizza, like flour, yeast, and water, right? What else is in there?
It's lazy. You don't need to make dough. You just throw sauce and cheese on it and tuck it in the oven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did when I was a kid.
Are you trying to home make?
Oh, I see what you.
English
Yes,
muffin?
I'm trying to home make an English muffin. I'm
Oh.
like, there's got to be something in like.
Oh, grocery store.
Okay, I thought you were like, have you ever
Or,
tried?
bagels?
I thought you were saying like instead of like making pizza dough, have you ever tried making English muffins? And I'm like, no, like that sounds like what's different?
I think English muffins is one of those things like you're not going to beat the Thomas English muffin at the store. Even if you're at a restaurant and they make their own, they got this homemade blah, blah, blah. No, you're just going to want the Thomas, right?
Probably, right?
I've had some pretty solid English muffins in my day.
I feel like I don't have English muffins that often. And like randomly, I was like out on the road or something. And I went to McDonald's, which like I never do. I like my first job was McDonald's. And I literally ate McDonald's for like 4 meals a day and just way too much of it the entire time that I worked there, right? So then like once you stop working there, you just never want to eat McDonald's again. I kind of feel like, so I never eat there. And then I did, and I had like an Egg McMuffin, and I was like, this is the best effing food I've ever had. Like it just hit different for some reason.
The best house-made English muffin resides in Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
A place called Penny Clues.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still around. I don't know.
Have you been up there?
Not since before COVID.
Man. All right. We're gonna get ready to do this. I should probably share it out quick to all the stuff. You didn't share it on any pages, did you?
No, I'm just in the chat.
All right, let me hop in there quick. And
Jeff Norman's taking all our contact. We got it, Jeff. We're going to talk
He said
about
he
it.
was going to tune in, so.
Oh, he's on all the time.
Hi, Jeff.
Just do me a favor and try to get as close to the mic, or if you can bring it up higher, but try to get as close as you can so everybody hears perfectly well. And there's fish. I'll get out of here. Van Hammer beer trade. Getting all these notifications all of a sudden. Pizza Gang. All right. I think that's good for now.
Let's do it.
Just checking in on the baby. All right. So we're going to do a little quick intro, right? I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say hi to you. I'm going to say a couple of things. And then we'll just get into questions, trying beers, and shooting the shit for a little bit. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Crack a beer and join John and Mr. Steve as they explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. You are now entering the Might Be Brews podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Might Be Brews, episode 79. My name is John. With me, as always, Mr. Steve. How you doing tonight?
79?
79.
Man, we're old. I
Right?
think that's retirement age for a podcast,
It's
isn't
getting there. It's getting there. We'll see what happens after 80. We'll see what happens after 80. If you guys can't tell, we were in beautiful Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are on site, Cartel Brewing and Blending. We've got Adam here. Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
Thank you so much for hanging out with us and helping us set this up. Guys, if you're watching right now online, the podcast comes out on Monday, so make sure you go find us online, subscribe, share, listen, rate, all that good stuff at Might Be Brews. If you're listening, you can go back and rewatch this live stream anytime on Facebook or YouTube. Find all of our episodes on mightbebrews.podbean.com. There you can find the links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those places to make it easier for you. When you find us, make sure you subscribe. Help us with the algorithms, press play, all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. Adam, I am so pumped to be here. We were just talking about this, Kennett Brewfest. Shout out Jeff Norman. And I forget, what was the beer that we had there?
I snuck in a couple of bottles of a bourbon barrel aged barley wine.
That's right.
Now I remember.
Yeah, you had the little sneaky stuff. And it was, I remember that being delicious. And so I was just super excited to get out here and finally talk to you. So let's start with a beer. What should we start with?
Sure. I've structured the flight here light to dark, so we should probably just stay in that order.
So what's this first one here?
The first one is our flagship lighter ale. It's a cream ale called Mug Club. We make Pilsners, we make cream ale, kind of alternating between the two. Obviously, lagers take longer to achieve the perfect beer. So cream ale we kind of mix that in. I've been brewing that beer since 2015. So.
Do you feel like cream ales are making a comeback? I feel like more and more people are doing them and maybe even experimenting a little bit more. I mean, maybe I missed the first cream ale thing, or like anything else, like Stranger Things. Like I just didn't realize that it existed, and now and now I realize that it's a thing way too late.
Well, wait, you didn't know Stranger Things was a thing?
Not really. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
I'm not watching it. I know that I should, and everybody talks about it, and I'm just like,
I thought for some reason there was a cream ale that showed up in Stranger Things, and you were trying to tie them together, or you're getting some low-key promo for Stranger Things.
New season out now.
Did I completely miss the boat on cream ales, or are they making a comeback? I guess is kind of.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more of them. You always hear Genesee. Oh,
that's what I was going to say.
I grew up with Genesee, and it's not Genesee, but it's definitely a style that I think is coming back. And it used to be kind of referred to as the poor man's Pilsner, not to be confused with Poor Man's Brewing Company's Pilsner.
Right.
I made that mistake once before.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. Just
In what
because
way?
it's an ale, it can drink just as crisp. You can get the similar hop character if you want. I don't use Saaz hops, which is more of a traditional German hop used in pilsners, but it's kind of the fast turning alternative to a lager. It's not going to quite hit those notes that you're getting from that pilsner.
Yep.
But if you want an ale version, cream ale is a nice alternative. A lot of people don't really realize what it is. So it is an opportunity for education. When people think cream ale, they think lactose, they think milk, they think cream, obviously, because it says cream ale. All it means is we're using some degree of flaked corn in the bill for the malt. So, it could be a small percentage, could be a mid-range percentage of flaked maize.
It's funny when you say that, because I immediately went to, when I was first getting into beer, I wanted nothing to do with cream ales, thinking that like, oh, it's going to be milky or something like that, have that weird substance to it. And I'm like, I'm good on that. But that's why it's good to educate people, right? And like give them the opportunity to try things, because you're right. Like it is a nice, clean, crisp beer. It's got a good mouthfeel to it, because of that corn probably. And it is a good.
It's a nice canvas to experiment with. We've done a lot of things with that cream ale. It actually started out when I first started homebrewing it. It was infused in the keg with a local Amish root beer to give it just a hint of like a root beer float. And I called it Amish Mug Club. And then eventually I just decided I need to make this beer by itself and see what it tastes like. And then just called it Mug Club.
Nice.
We do Mug Shot, which is a coffee cream ale. Same base.
Yep.
We do Malibu Club, which is blended in the keg with fresh pressed strawberries, a little bit of coconut, a little bit of vanilla.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Pours pink, drinks like a daiquiri, but you still taste beer. It's not overwhelmingly heavy in those characteristics,
Sure.
flavors. So,
well, yeah, that's fun. A lot of experimenting.
I definitely feel like cream ales and brown ales, I feel like, are the ones to me that are starting to I feel like I'm insulting it by calling it a plainer style, but I feel like it's a little bit more, a canvas is definitely a good word to it, that you can add things to and build upon those base flavors to kind of build something up. This is definitely a nice hot weather beer.
Yeah.
So you can be outside. It's light. It's not going to fill you up. It'd be a nice, easy drink.
I think this style of beer is actually, I guess, scientifically probably the best beer to use coffee in, because if you're trying to get the actual flavors of the coffee, it's nice to not have to compete with dark roasted malts, chocolate malts, caramel malts. You kind of lose the coffee. You get the coffee. You get the general coffee is here sensation. You don't get the distinct flavors of whatever origin or single origin or blend of coffee that you're using. So if I'm going to use a higher quality coffee, I would prefer to put it in this, because then the coffee can be the star of the show.
Yeah.
We did we tested out a batch of this. We had a gentleman who travels around the country doing Thai street food pop-ups, which actually may turn into a TV series, because he also was in like developing screenplays and stuff.
Okay.
He got picked up by Viacom, I believe, for like,
nice.
Kind of like that, traveling around docu-series type food.
Sure. You said Thai?
Thai.
Yeah.
Thai food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually did a keg of the Mug Club. He came here and whipped up some food in our garage, and we had a line of people, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we put Thai iced tea in the Mug Club. Came out that orange color that I don't know if you're familiar with Thai iced tea. You ever have Thai iced tea?
No, I don't think so. Have you?
I've definitely not. I was going to say, I don't think I've even had any like Thai food.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Like pad Thai, but probably something.
If you ever
that's
go
not
out for
legit.
Thai food, I mean, they probably will have Thai iced tea. Usually it's served with sweetened condensed milk. It comes out like an orange color. It's great.
Nice.
Try it out sometime.
Yeah.
It worked really well in that beer.
Sure.
I want to try Thai and like Indian and stuff, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to go try bad Thai food at one place and then be like, I don't like Thai food. And I just screwed myself because I just judged it off of that one spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. You got to find like a really good spot that's got good reviews and hopefully have a good experience and
Right.
have somebody ease you into it, you know? So when we have a new guest on, we always ask what the gateway beer is. What was your gateway beer? If you can think back to like not, you know, your Miller Lights and things like that, you know, people had when they were younger or just started to drink. But what was that first beer experience, if you can think of it?
I mean, that took me from like beer and craft beer to, oh my goodness, I'm into craft beer.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
exactly.
Midas Touch.
What is that?
Dogfish Head.
Okay. Remind me the style, because I can.
That is an interesting one.
Is that the one that's half mead?
No, it's made with grape must.
Yeah.
I think. So I haven't had one in ages. So I used to drink a lot of Boston Lager, Sam Adams Oktoberfest, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yep.
Those were kind of the technical craft beers that I had been drinking. And then a coworker at the time gave me a bottle of Midas Touch and said, "You got to try this. This is real beer," or some kind of statement like that. And I took it home and I drank it. And at first sip, I almost didn't like it.
Yep.
Like, it was really strong. Like, it was just like, oh my goodness, this is very strong. There's a lot going on here. Every sip following that just was an experience, a different experience each time. And you're picking out all sorts of different flavors.
Right. Yeah.
And then we started, I would say another one for me was probably your Belgians, like your Chimay Blue, Three Philosophers from Omegang.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty, like, Belgians are many people's gateway beers.
Yeah.
But I would say
That was me.
definitely, like, without a doubt, as soon as you said that, like, Midas Touch always comes
Yeah.
to mind because it's the most memorable experience.
Yeah.
How did you happen across that? Because I remember that TV show that they used to have, and I can't remember the name of it. You remember the TV show? It was just Dogfish, and he would do like they did the one episode about the beer that they chewed the corn.
Oh yeah, the Brewmasters.
It might have been. It was something like that.
This was long before that. This was like 06, 07.
Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely before that TV show.
I think 2011, 2012 was that show.
Yeah.
Did you do an episode with Bert? Didn't you do one
Bert
with Bert?
Kreischer?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I remember there being like at least a web series where they were like drinking like Namaste White or whatever wit together.
I remember watching the first episode of that. And I think it was the first episode. It was the first episode I saw of the Dogfish series, where they were talking about Bitches Brew. And I had recently picked up the first batch of bottles because we used to go down to Rehoboth a lot and stay at a B&B and just hang out and go to Dogfish. Like,
yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Trying all of their beers. Second to Midas Touch that was influential would probably be Palo Santo Marone.
The wood.
Yeah, the Palo Santo wood aged. Called it a brown ale, poured like a oil slick stout, 12% ABV. Yeah. So I don't know.
Sounds right up my alley. That's definitely my type of beer.
Yeah, I don't even think of that as a brown ale. To me, it's a stout.
I just had a. Do you remember? Not that long ago, I was at Dogfish. And I got those They were sherry, port, barrel aged 120 bottles.
I don't ever remember tasting one.
Yeah, but you remember me texting everybody and people got them. Then I was like, oh, they're like $30 bottles.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize at the time.
I just don't like 120.
No,
I'm out.
So, you know the mistake that I don't know if this ever happens to you guys, but you've got like 3 or 4 beers in you, and then you're just like feeling great and beer's tasting amazing, and then you grab a beer and that thing's like a 15% beer. So I had like 4 or 5 sips and I was like, I just can't fucking do this anymore. Like, I'm already too far. I've already had 4 beers and then now I'm trying to
the night ender.
Yeah,
the party stopper.
Yeah.
For you guys mentioned beer shares before, and like back in the day of doing beer shares pretty regularly, like the common offender was always a brewery bottle, like Black Tuesday, Mocha Wednesday,
right,
Gray Monday.
So happens it's Tuesday,
and you always exactly. It's like you're just getting to finish the night, and someone comes out. Hey, yo, I got Black Tuesday.
Yeah. We're like, well, I can't not, but Let me just get a sip.
Yeah, let me go. Give me a little. Yeah.
I got to snooze this. My computer randomly restarted on me when I was on the phone with somebody earlier today, and I just got this weird like restart notification. I'm like, fingers crossed this doesn't try to do what happened to me earlier today. That would be terrible. So Adam, if you don't mind, tell us about your professional history, getting into home brewing or whatever that was that got you into being here.
Sure. Some of my professional history, we'll go back to 06. I worked for 4 years for Starbucks and got really into, back then I feel like they really dove deep into coffee pour overs, tasting things. They had a Black Apron program where it was pretty intense to actually get certified. And moved out here end of 2005. So transferred from the University of Connecticut store and was working out here for a while. Eventually ended up in marketing, marketing, sales, advertising, brand development, campaign consulting, social media, digital, stuff like that.
Nice. Okay.
So did that for about 12 years total.
Okay.
And towards the beginning of getting into that, a friend told me he was making beer, and he's like, you should come hang out and, you can make beer with me.
Yeah.
So I went, didn't know anything about the process. I mean, obviously I enjoyed beer, so I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Right.
And so kind of was fascinated with the process. I mean, he was just doing like extract batches and stuff. And eventually I said, I want to put a recipe together and we can brew it. Is that cool? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I want to do all grain. So the first batch that I kind of put together was an all grain batch. Essentially it was a spin-off of like a Mad Elf. We didn't use cherries. We used plums.
Nice.
That was kind of the tweak to it. And it was great. Like it turned out awesome. Eventually he stopped brewing, or was kind of like few and far between. And I met another guy who was really into it. We became friends, started brewing with him. About a year into that, he decided he was pretty into it too. He had like a whole system and a whole bunch of equipment and stuff. He just decided he didn't really want to do it anymore.
Right.
So I bought his equipment, started figuring out recipes. And then 6 months later, he calls me up and he's like, hey, how's that brewing equipment going? I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. You want to come join me for a brew? And he's like, yeah. And so he started brewing with me. So basically, he quit, sold me his stuff, ended up brewing at my place anyways. Most people said, well, that's because everybody wants to quit. But, because of the mess and the work and the cleanup, they're like, everybody's happy to come brew.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll join a brew day any day.
80% like boring cleaning work.
Yeah, right.
So that was kind of all throughout that time. I was kind of, because I was into beer, because I started getting into the whole, beer trading, traveling for beer, trying new beer, beer shares, all that stuff. And being in a field where you're constantly analyzing market trends and consumer behavior, I just started kind of following the industry, where at the time, obviously we know where we are now.
Sure.
And where we were then.
Yeah.
And kind of predicting and seeing how those numbers were going to explode, and how there was this huge resurgence just kind of waiting to explode in this country. And just kind of followed that along the way. Seeing the movement. About halfway through, I pretty much was not really interested in opening a brewery, because I felt like the saturation rate was happening so fast that it was less known as far as what the opportunity would look like and how difficult it would be. Then I started noticing that the landscape was slowly shifting, or appeared to be shifting, to the local tap room. Buy fresh, buy local, consume fresh. Customers were starting to be less likely to purchase beer at a grocery store off of a warm shelf, and you don't know how long it's sat there.
Yeah.
To connecting with the place it was made, the person who made it. And we've seen a lot of that here with just regulars, repeat customers that we love seeing, and that, and that keeps growing as we go. So it seemed to make sense if that was the new opportunity or the new landscape. I didn't really want to get into like huge manufacturing and wholesale distribution. That didn't really excite me, because it kind of created this like middleman between you and your customer. And part of what I enjoy is that interaction. So
we've been talking about that for a little while. It's almost like you either want to be the really, really big guy on the block, or you want to be the small guy on the block. You don't want to be that mid-size worrying about distribution. And
I think mid-size is nice though. I think I'd like to, I don't know what mid-size is technically, but I think I would like to see a 3 to 4 times the size brew system that I have now.
I think so. From a brewing standpoint, I think the market standpoint is more towards you guys, towards the smaller guys there. Yeah, like I always say Weyerbacher. For some reason, that's in my mind, that mid-level that's like, back in 2010, 2011, we were talking about, it was, let's go get some Weyerbacher. They got the quad, they got all this barrel aged stuff.
Oh yeah. But Sunday morning stout.
Then it kind of shifted a little bit, and it was like, that's the stuff I see at the grocery store. It's not the fresh stuff. It's not the special release stuff. It's not something new every couple weeks.
Yep.
That people are kind of craving.
Yeah, I think we've definitely talked about that. You start to see that trend where the local tap room is kind of a preferred business model, as opposed to, or you're so big that you've got distribution across the country, and when you're kind of in between distributing throughout, your state, not there may be a little bit tougher to compete. When you're trying to get into all those grocery stores and beer stores, sell kegs, things like that, and that's the model that you're used to. I feel like those companies, those sizes, started to struggle because there were so many other places popping up that could do fresher beer more often, more frequently, things like that, in smaller batches.
Well, and there was a time, and obviously the last couple of years, something kind of happened. I don't know what, wink, wink, that kind of changed the whole landscape of how people
life.
Life, COVID, everything.
Right.
But prior to that, it was cool to start seeing like there is a subset of breweries that were able to scale to significant size and can package and sell it all directly out of their doors.
Yeah.
It's the minority for sure, by far.
Yeah.
But if your product is good and you have that culture and community that people want to hang out at or be a part of or pay attention to, I still think there's an opportunity for that. I mean, Other Half's a great example. They're still doing a lot of self-distribution, and they're adding more locations left and right. I think they're up to like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
Did you see Jason had a question in our chat there?
Yeah, Jason said, I missed the beginning. Where are they located? And do they have a style that they think is their best style? So Jason, you should, I don't know if I don't have like, it's just Cartel Brewing. It should be on the screen down there at the bottom. But we're at Cartel Brewing. It's there. So we're in Lancaster.
I think he meant what town.
Yeah, gotcha. Where are they located? Gotcha. I thought they're like, where are they at right now? I'm an idiot. Sorry about that. I mean, is this technically a Lancaster address, or is there any specific neighborhood?
We're at the north. We're at the north point of Lancaster City, downtown Lancaster.
Gotcha.
Is like at the baseball stadium pretty close to here?
Yep.
People that know the baseball stadium
is the train station. If you're taking Amtrak, you can hop off the train, walk a half block, and come hang out. And we could probably send you to 5 or 6 other places. You can make a day of it. So hop right back on the train and go home.
I want to talk about when you're deciding that you're going to open a brewery, what that's like when you're like, all right, I think I can make this transition. I'm going to try to open a place. What was involved with that, and why did you pick this area and this location specifically?
That That's a loaded question. Well, I live in Lancaster. I've lived here for about 17 years.
Okay.
I like downtown Lancaster. There's a lot going on in food and beverage and art and music and culture and diversity of like people just living here and creating a culture that's really awesome. So wanting to be a part of that, I kind of had my eye on this little building for a number of years, just because this side of town is really starting to blossom, and I think the next few years it's gonna be popping. But as far as opening a brewery, I mean, I wanted to start smaller, lower risk, making sure that I could scale things the way I wanted. No sacrifice to quality. Some of the beers that I brew are a little like my processes might be frowned on, or, just people might think it's kind of crazy, like with the ingredients and scaling at that size. Right. It's like, yeah, you can make a small batch like that, but how are you going to do it when you're making sure and figuring out that I could still do those things without sacrificing the product, the quality that comes out.
Sure.
So, yeah.
What was this place before?
Primarily for about 6 years, it was a bicycle shop.
Okay.
And then prior to us, for like 5 or 6 months, there was like an antique store that was sometimes open.
Okay.
And then they kind of vacated the place, and we were getting close to signing on to another lease that would have been not in the city. It would have been outside the city a little bit, and wasn't my favorite, but it was a start. And I saw the sign in the window again and literally pulled over and called the number, because we had tried to get it before.
Yep.
And it didn't work out at the time. The timing wasn't right. So I just said, hey, take the sign out of the window, give me the paperwork, like we'll sign it whenever. Let's do it. Like, let's go.
That's awesome.
And they had already remembered who I was, and she's like, I was just getting ready to call you. So yeah. Anyway.
What's this next beer that we're sipping on?
This next beer is one of our flagship IPAs. This is called Glowzaic. Our flagship IPA is Glow. This is Glow with additional hops, with mosaic hops added on top of the normal hop regimen.
In boil hops or dry hops or both?
Mostly Whirlpool.
Nice.
And dry hop.
Sweet.
Some boil.
Is that after Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, or is it a different Glow?
No, just
Glow. Cool.
Yeah. It's another homebrew recipe I used to make probably since 2015, 2016. So
Christopher Sweat. You know Christopher Sweat? He just hopped in the chat. He said glow with a big exclamation point.
What's up, Chris?
Jeff says coolest small location. That's what he said. So
yeah, it's small.
Let's go back to Jason. Jason says, what's the brewery size now? And I don't think we really answered his first question is
the beer style.
What style do you think is best? Or, what's your flagships and what's going
on? My styles, I do a huge range of styles, and we've gotten really good feedback about like all of them, which is great. What I love doing and what I've done the most of in my homebrew days is bigger beers, barley wines, big stouts, whiskey barrel aging. I used to age in one of those Dad's Hat barrels. I used to get 15-gallon Dad's Hat rye barrels from some distillery.
Yeah.
And
so you
age some big boy stouts and barley wines.
If you look up your official name, I mean, it's Cartel Brewing and Blending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a big part of what you want your portfolio to be, right? You want to be doing blending and barrel aging and things like that, right?
I do. Ironically, the only thing I don't blend is barrels currently.
Okay.
And I will someday, probably, if I'm getting into like mixed fermentation, like wild sours and barrel conditioned sours and things. We blend in the fermenter, we blend in the keg, and we blend at the taps.
Gotcha.
So we have beers that are designed to be great beers by themselves, but they can also be mixed 50-50, 2/3, 1/3. We've mixed sours and IPAs to make sour IPAs right at the tap. We've mixed the root beer cream ale with a little bit of milk stout or porter to give it more depth and of the root beer roasty, milky characteristics of like a mug root beer. There's all sorts of different blends.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So I was just expecting you to say like, we're blending barrel stuff or whatever to make, but that's a really interesting. I mean, I know people do it, but there's just so many opportunities that people probably don't take to put the work in to blend something 60-40, 30-70, whatever that math is.
I mean, eventually, like we probably would design even a more involved or complex experience for a customer to send. We've had customers create their own. It's like, hey, can I do half this and half that? I'm like, sure. And then I end up trying it. I'm like, actually, that's really good. Creates the opportunity to have a certain number of beers on tap, but more than that number of opportunities for different beers that you can drink.
Sure.
Like different stuff.
Well, that's what's, I guess, got to be really fun about a location like this, where you're having those really personal interactions with people, and it's more of an experience than just having a beer at a bar. You get to potentially educate them, let them try things, and they end up, it's just a great way to do things and interact with your customers.
The Beer Cafe is the new coffee shop. We don't have televisions here. We might eventually bring one in for something special, like if we do like Kentucky Derby or rugby or the World Cup or something like that. But there are plenty of places to stare at a screen around here.
Sure.
And we encourage people to have a conversation, have
That's
a couple
awesome.
of beers.
John likes F1. You could set up the F1 races.
There you go.
You ever watch F1?
I have before.
Do you see his eyes
I
light
don't
up whenever you just say F1? As he's
don't
like,
like-
oh,
Let's-
ooh, F1.
Can I
you like
convert
that?
somebody? So, what went into actually, renovations and things like that to get this place ready for beer?
With the exception of the plumbing, completely redoing like plumbing, water lines, drainage, and stuff, and a couple of friends, I was here in the evenings for almost a year.
Oh yeah.
Framing, running electric, framing some more, running some more electric, making a mess, cleaning it up.
I gotta say that I feel like this place has more electrical outlets than most places.
Well, that's what I said when we came in. I was like, we're good. We're good on electric. I see we got electric.
There's electric everywhere. I feel like we've been to places where we're like, well, our only option is that corner to record because that's the only outlet. But I mean, all of the bar seats, you got a place to plug in your phone or whatever. Almost at every table, you definitely put some thought into that.
Well, if you're in there
webcam up
anyways,
there.
might take the extra 10 minutes to like just throw everything you need. I actually feel like I should have put one in that wall right there because I've been needing. Yeah, it's fun.
Right. Yeah.
This much electric would take me approximately 15 years.
Right.
We signed the lease on March 1st of 2020.
Yeah, I was going to ask next. Yeah, when did you guys open? And
we signed the lease 2 weeks before the world stopped.
oh man, that's another one. Yeah.
We had we were going through the process of getting loans or a loan from the bank days before everything was pulled because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? Okay.
So what did you do to adapt? I mean, you said like it took you like a year. Did you just kind of slow down? And
I mean, yeah, we had to figure out another alternative for some additional funding. We did a main vest campaign, and that went really well. We raised it's like Kickstarter, only it's an actual SEC logged investment with a return multiplier. So we share our gross revenue every quarter, a certain percentage that gets distributed to all the people that invested, as little as 100, as high as $5,000. And over a period of time, they're getting their money back. Plus, like some are getting 1.5. So some people might put 5 in and they're going to get 7,500 back over a period of time.
okay.
So that was really cool. It created some buzz, got a lot of the vast majority of people that participated. None of us knew. They were just local people in the community, some people from out of town that were just like, I love what this is and this sounds awesome. And so it was really cool to kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't hear too much of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't quite get where we were number wise with the bank, but it was enough to like, okay, well, we're just gonna do some of this stuff ourselves instead of hiring somebody and get to where we can open. And we did. And it was a little tough at first because
What was it like when you first opened? Like, what was the world like, and what kind of traffic?
Opened March of 2021. So it was kind of towards the tail end of like guidelines and like certain restrictions on how many people and like all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But it was like just kind of at the tail end where
Well, people kind of knew what to expect now. Like people were
Mhm.
starting to go out, but
we
they
were still
knew,
slammed. The nice thing
Yeah, good.
is we had a ton of like high top tables outside, tables out back, tables in the front. People could hang out outside. We're technically 1 block from the actual line for Lancaster City.
okay,
We're actually in a township that's not Lancaster City, even though we're technically considered the city.
Yep.
There's no open container laws here. So
nice.
you can walk outside drinking a beer and you're fine.
Nice.
It's like the Wild West out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of out back, I noticed there's a food truck out there. You guys have a food truck that's kind of is their home base is kind of here for the weekend.
It has been, yeah, for a while now. We've had Hot Box Barbecue. They're a newer. They started. It's a newer brand, but the Pitmaster has been doing it for I think well over 20 years.
That was a big old smoker out there.
Big old smoker.
It's
Yeah.
a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
I can take a good look at it. It's probably an old propane tank or something.
They're starting to get busy. That they have been doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday here. Now that's kind of alternating a little bit between here and the beer garden.
Mhm.
We're also running a significantly sized beer garden about a half a mile from here
Okay.
with another brewery, and probably have seen 200-300 people like at a
Nice.
time. Like it's pretty good size outdoor space.
Love a good beer garden.
Yeah. So when you're opening up and you're worried about how things are going to go, do you remember a specific moment where you were like, you know what, I think we're going to be all right? Was it day one, or did it take a while and you were like, man, like,
Oh no, it's always up and down and up and down and up and
a
down.
roller coaster? Yeah.
I don't think like you can't judge longevity from grand opening month
Sure.
because you ride that wave for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you hit, in our case, you hit the summer lulls where it's kind of up and down. People want to be outside, some people don't, and like
People go on vacation.
and
Yeah,
then
too hot,
there were people
yeah.
that just still simply didn't know we existed, and
Yeah.
there's still so many people that don't know we exist. Because I mean we're kind of like a hidden little spot here, and we're starting to. I mean, it's going really well, but we haven't even started.
Yeah. You feel like you're still in the
Oh, yeah.
infancy. Yeah.
I feel like Lancaster itself is almost in a little brewing infancy. Lancaster Brewing's been here for forever, and everybody knows Lancaster Brewing. But there's a bunch of little guys popping up around here. We just I can't remember the name of the one that we just drove past that we were talking about on the way in.
Who was that?
Where did you
go?
Tattered Flag.
Yeah.
Oh, the
there's a
Tattered Flag.
yeah.
Their main site is a brewery, a big brewery and still house out in like Middletown, like near Hershey, Harrisburg.
Yep.
And so this is like a satellite location.
Nice.
It's kind of cool. Lancaster County, I believe, technically has 30 breweries,
Okay. Nice.
and that's if you count things like the Tattered Flag's like Lancaster location, not their brewing location.
Yep.
Like Collusion has a location in Lidditz.
Okay.
Their primary production facility is in New York.
Gotcha.
So when you start looking at all of those brands, we have a ton in the county. And that's why like we started the Lancaster Brewers Guild. We're starting to put like, an ale trail together and like just finding new ways for people to engage with all these brands. And there were people that came in and we did like an ale trail passport.
Yeah.
Kind of
Are
like,
you helping do that? Like set
I'm
that
on the
up, or you
board.
just okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of curious if there was, you've got this 12 years of marketing and experience and things like that. For me, I love talking marketing with people because it's always about finding new and creative ways to engage potential clients and keeping your current clients engaged. And how can you think of any examples where you've kind of melded your experience into? I mean, that's probably a good one, right?
I would love to do more.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the cobbler's kids have no shoes. Like when you're in this business and you're doing so many different things, like I want to find more time to devote to that for myself.
Sure.
But at the same time, marketing is interesting in this phase of a brewery. Most of it, I mean, it's always social media, word of mouth. social media, word of mouth, beer shares, strategic festival attendance.
Sure. Yeah.
Like you can't go to all of them, but like there are some like the Kennett Fest
Mhm.
that I think are amazingly strategic. Not only is it a quality lineup, so there could be some really good networking, like meeting you guys last year. But it's just in that sweet spot of like 50 minutes to an hour away.
Yeah. Yep.
Where people are like, I've had people because of Kennett.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't think, we loved everything we tried. We're going to come to Lancaster and like, we haven't been there in a while. It's so close. Let's make a day of it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And it's like, and not only do we benefit from that, but like all the other local breweries that they visit are receiving business.
Yeah.
From at least one of us going out and saying, hey, there's beer in Lancaster.
Yeah. Come out
There's
here and do
more
it.
beer in Lancaster.
Shout out Jason. He's been participating the whole time, and he said he's definitely going to make the ride out. So we've definitely turned him on to it, and he's excited to come out here to Lancaster and check out what's going on out here.
Is he a friend of yours?
No,
I don't
think so. He might be. I can't tell from the picture.
He was talking about your hair earlier, so I was trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, maybe I do. I'm just terrible with that. I don't.
But Jason, I'm glad to hear you know that you heard about this place, and hopefully you check out all the places that we go to.
I probably do. He's probably like my cousin or something, and I just have no fucking idea. It's just not clicking today for whatever reason.
A lot of the breweries are like turning into like your Lancaster beer tour guides. We love it. Like people go to our town, which is like a nice brewery right down the street, probably like 5 blocks from here. They're sending people up here. We're sending people down there. They could stay on this street right here and probably hit 5 breweries.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like you can literally
just
hit
walk
a bunch
around
of
and
spots.
yeah,
Yep.
that's sweet. What's this beer here?
This is the Respect Your Elders collab with Lancaster Brewing.
I'm like,
Company.
I'm digging this beer so much. What is this? And I know why, because I've had it
And you dug it then too.
and I dug it, and I think I got a full 4-pack of it,
Yes, you did.
and I just could not wait to open the next one. So tell us a little bit about this beer and like the process, what went behind it, and
Sure.
the label, all the good stuff.
So being in that kind of beer craze, beer trading, trying new things, all that stuff, obviously, most people in that culture know Pliny the Elder.
Yeah.
So I designed a recipe when I was home brewing. Just I really like this beer. I like the hop flavor profile. I kind of had a rough idea on like what the hops were, and so I made that beer years and years ago, and I had been wanting to make it since I opened, and and then I thought, well, it'd be really cool to do this Respect Your Elders collab, us being the new guys in the town, Lancaster technically being the oldest operating brewery in Lancaster, so Lancaster Brewing Company, and being on the board with Mark from Lancaster Brewing Company. He runs the operations there. We became friends, and I said, hey, it'd be really awesome if we could do this collab together, and he loved the idea. We talked about it probably for 5 or 6 months before we actually did it.
That's cool that it wasn't just like, hey, I'm gonna brew something like close to Pliny. Like let's put some more thought into it, and it's a much cooler story that way, knowing that you've got the old guy in town.
Well, yeah, and that was
bringing them
it's
in
a
on it.
spin on like Respect Your Elders, Pliny the Elder. I took essentially just recreated the Pliny label and changed the name and like changed some of the components of the label. Originally kind of as a joke, but half serious. Like we should totally use this. This would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mark reached out to Vinny from Russian River, who I guess is from out here originally.
I think I've
didn't
heard
realize
that.
He's got ties. He's got definitely got
or
Philadelphia
something.
ties.
So just kind of told him, kind of the 30,000-foot view of like the project, and he said, yeah, that's fine as long as it's kind of a one-time brew. You're not going to be doing like national distro or anything. We're like, no, just local. Like we're gonna, local on site and to go.
Yep.
Small run of cans. I think we only did like 80 or 180 cases.
Okay. Yeah.
I did bottles. Mark didn't do bottles. So we each had cans, and I ran off some bottles just because I had a bunch of bottles.
Yeah.
That looked like the original.
Yeah. Right. That's sweet.
That was always one of the OG try and trade.
Oh,
Get some
yeah.
from.
Well, and it was kind of a two-pronged, like, hey, this is not we're not trying to rip anything off. It's not even necessarily like a full-on 100% perfect clone of Pliny. It's just a Pliny tribute beer. And also kind of, hey, this beer pays tribute to like all the OGs, or like Russian River, like still like they're one of my favorite breweries. I mean, like, their beers. I mean, Consecration, one of my favorite sours.
Amazing beers. I mean, they just do, they've been killing it in like the barrel age, the wild beers as well, the sour stuff, but also IPAs, and that kind of reminds me of like Heady Topper, and like when Sip of Sunshine was like one of those like big beers that you would look out for and be excited for it to randomly hit the tap at TJ's in Paoli or something.
Their pills was great.
Yeah,
I used to go to Vermont, and you'd see all the people flocking there looking for Heady Topper, and kind of fast walking through the stores looking for the fridge that contains the Heady Topper 4-packs.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of standing there watching all these people reach past Sip of Sunshine to grab the Heady Topper, and I'm just like waiting, walk in, grab the sip, leave, because I loved that. That beer was
I love that beer. And you know what's crazy is you can go to Thorndale Beverage right now, and there's 3 cases of Sip of Sunshine sitting on the floor.
Wegmans right down the street.
Yeah.
You can get Sip of Sunshine.
Any
it's kind
day.
of crazy. I used to have to drive to Vermont, and like
I used to have alerts set on my phone for when like Sip would hit around here, and go chase it. It's crazy. And then so tell us, like, I'm kind of curious. I feel like I'm getting a lot in this beer. There's like all kinds of different like layers and things that I'm picking out of it, and I'm wondering if you can tell us anything about the recipe that might be, as far as making it a little bit different, or what type of techniques or hops are giving it that old school traditional.
It came out, first of all, it came out a little darker than mine used to come out. I think it was a little more caramely, a little more malty. It's only three malts. It's mostly base malts, a little bit of caramel malt. I think it's supposed to be 40, but I think we did 60, which would account for the color.
Gotcha.
And then probably a little bit of carapils, I think. Dextrin, maybe.
Okay.
Hops are your classic.
The C's.
Mostly, Chinook, Centennial, Amarillo, Simcoe. What's the other one?
And then is there like a special hop schedule that you try to do to help mimic that? And then are beers like this dry hopped also?
Yes.
Yeah, like heavily?
Not as heavily as some of these newer fangled hazy things. A lot of hot side. We're talking probably 3 to 5 hot side hop additions.
Yeah, nice. Because
Like
you get a lot of bitterness, but it's just got so much body and aroma to it that it's kind of just helps carry with the malt backbone, right? So it's all helping carry the ride of everything.
Yeah, Pliny's a little drier, and certainly not as sweet as this one. This one's a little more medium bodied, light to medium bodied, whereas Pliny's definitely a light bodied.
Yeah. I just dig this beer, man. Like, when the first can that I had, I was like, man, this is just hitting the spot for me.
I love
it drinks nice for 8%. I mean, you can't really.
I love that when I saw the post start going out for this, everybody's like, "Oh, that's a cease and desist. Oh, you guys are going to get sued. Oh, you guys are." It's like, dude, take a breath.
Yeah.
Talk to the brewers. It's all cool.
It's okay.
Like,
And
settle down there, internet.
We've made sure, because I guess one of the concerns is they just don't want other breweries thinking that it's open season to do that.
Yeah.
So we made it pretty clear, and the people did the work for us, because I saw all that chatter, and it was constantly the narrative was, they got permission. This is one time. This is not,
Yeah.
So hopefully that carries weight, so that no brewery gets an idea that
they want to do it, or hey, can I do?
or
Yeah,
like, this is just a one time. Nobody's trying to be sneaky or steal anybody's IP or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might be doing more, so stay tuned. We have a
Nice.
couple of other breweries.
Do you
we've been
guys
talking with?
do you guys have more of this available to go, or is it just on tap left?
Just draft, but I can run off, and I probably will be running off another limited run of the bottles,
Nice.
Cool.
and then that's it. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Nice.
If I brew it again, it won't be called that, and I'll probably will tweak it a little bit.
Nice. Well, that'll be fun to try the V.2, knowing that you're trying to make make it a little bit closer. But it's already fantastic. I really dig the beer. I got a couple questions from Sean, our buddy Sean, in the chat here. What's your favorite beer name that you've come up with, and what's the story behind it? I mean, we might have just done that, but is there anything else
That
that
could be?
that's got to be a favorite?
Oh man,
That's a tough one.
no, I'm just trying to think if it's like, if it's like okay to, I don't know.
It's okay to say whatever you darn well please. If you're worried about our podcast, just say whatever you want.
Yeah, there's I don't think you have to worry about much, but it's up to you. The other question
There
is,
was a duck sauce barley wine called Drink You Long Time,
oh, nice. I like that.
but that was ages ago.
Yeah.
Did it actually have duck sauce in it?
Yeah, house made
Nice.
duck sauce, not the packets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
did it-
that was
yeah.
way back in the day. I don't know if a name like that would fly today. We don't want to,
Yeah, right.
we don't want anybody to.
That's cool. Sean also asked, can you describe the ebb and flow of a business year in regards to how busy they are? So we kind of touched on that earlier, but throughout the year, what is it? Is it very seasonal? I know everybody talks about the struggle of January.
Dry January.
With dry January for breweries.
Lame.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, being only like, what is it, 15 months old? Yeah, you have like a couple months in the summer that things kind of dip.
Sure.
But like fall, winter, spring, with the exception of January. Although our January wasn't too bad at all. I guess I didn't think it was. I don't have anything to really compare it to though. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this was your first January.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, with January, I mean, you definitely notice somewhat of a dip in January. February kind of starts ramping up. March and April are bananas. May, kind of steady. Right now with the beer garden, it's tough because we're kind of competing with ourselves. If it's a
Sure.
beautiful day, you're going to go hang out at the beer garden. You're not going to
Yeah.
be sitting in, and we still have
When it's
people
not
that
that
come
far.
hang out here, but like, it's definitely like slowed down a little bit at the tap room, but then we see like a massive uptick
Sure.
half mile away at the beer garden. So
Yeah.
they're still getting Cartel beers. I mean, we got 8 taps over there, 4 ours for our Rural City, which is a newer brewery that opened up back in like December.
I haven't heard of them. They're in Lancaster.
They're up by the turnpike. They're Reamstown.
Is the beer garden dog friendly?
Yes.
You hear that, wife?
You hear
My
that,
wife
wife?
will go anywhere if we can take
Mhm.
the dog.
Yep. Dog friendly, family friendly. I mean, there are times
F
where
the
it's
kids.
like, yeah. Well,
So
She just cares about the dog. They have food trucks.
yes.
Nice.
And music and DJ schedule for the evenings primarily.
So let's talk about this beer here that we just started sipping on. This is a nice dark beer. So what's this one called?
This is called Obscurity. So this is the second batch. So we were talking about barrel blending earlier.
Yeah.
These are single barrels. So it says on the bottle single barrel. I mean, that's kind of a more popular term in like whiskey and bourbon
Sure.
and stuff like that. But intentionally not blended because I want whatever experience I'm getting when I taste that barrel, if it's what I want it to be, I don't want to mix it with anything else. I want that to be in the bottle. So brewed one batch of this beer. Half of it went into a bourbon barrel from our friends over at Stolen Wolf in Lidditz.
Nice.
The other went into a Thistle Finch rye barrel.
Okay. Where's Thistlefinch?
Lancaster City.
Okay.
Yeah, really good stuff. They have a great spot.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Okay.
So we dropped the first bottle, the Bourbon Barrel Obscurity, at our anniversary this past March.
Yeah.
And now the Rye Barrel took a little bit longer.
Gotcha.
To get where I wanted it to be. So
I like
now
this
it's
a
ready.
lot. This has got a nice.
I was going to say this is a John beer right here.
This has got a nice bite to it. It's good bitterness, and I feel like
That rye spiciness.
yes, the rye spiciness definitely comes through, and just hits you. And it's not too. What's the ABV? Because it doesn't feel like it's incredibly thick, like it's like motor oil, but it's still got a fantastic body.
Yeah, it's kind of when you're pouring it, it's kind of syrupy. It's
Yeah.
got some sweetness to it because it definitely
A little bit of sweetness, yeah.
very long boil, and then I age longer in the barrel, which means more evaporates, and you
Okay.
end up with less liquid but a better liquid. If I went probably another 6 to 8 months, it'd be even more syrupy than that.
Gotcha.
You want to take a stab at what you think the ABV is?
9.8.
12.8.
12.8. Holy shit. I was thinking 10ish, maybe. I don't know why I did 9.8.
If you drank that at 6 months, you would definitely guess 12.8.
Yeah.
But because it's been a lot longer than that,
Yeah.
it kind of everything. The beer going into the barrel tastes awful. If there's one thing I learned in having really good conversation with Adam Avery, who I think is is a legend at barrel aging.
Sure.
He had said make the beer designed for the barrel age is not necessarily designed to be consumed fresh.
Interesting. It's something
like
I don't think we've ever really talked about it.
Massive flavors. Where it's like astringent, overly powerful flavors. Time mellows and melds that all together.
Sure.
And then blends in oak.
Yeah.
And spirit character. And if I brew that beer, I would never put it on fresh because it's not correct.
Yeah, I don't think I've really had a conversation with somebody about that. I don't think we have talking about brewing a stout, a dark beer that's I've never really considered that before. It's
the thought of how it's going to develop in the barrel.
Right. Yeah, so you're brewing something that may not, it probably doesn't taste like you would want.
I mean, some people might like it, but I know what I'm looking for at an end result, and what comes out of the fermenter fresh is not that.
Sure, yeah. Well, some people like country music,
It took a lot to take that plunge because you're taking a risk on you brew a batch, and it's not so much the batch cost or anything. It's I'm also sitting on it for 15 to 24 months.
Yeah.
And if the end of that journey is not right, that hurts more than just the sum of the ingredients you put into it. It's man.
Sure.
But you do taste them as you go, and you'll have an idea of hey, this is progressing the way that I want it to. So,
yeah. Nice.
You said you have plans to bottle this one?
It's bottled. I'm waiting on labels.
Nice.
Then I do the whole wax thing, and
that'll be
we
fun.
probably have 200 to 300 bottles is usually what we can drop from a single barrel. Plus we'll have a couple of sixtils for draft pours while it lasts, and then there's probably one sixtil left that kind of disappears for a little while and save it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Or for
maybe this with 3/4 this with just a quarter of the cream ale. I'm trying to get into
this
the blending.
is the only beer that I wouldn't let anybody defile.
No, just a little
customer
creaminess to it. The customer's always
You
right.
want me to top that off?
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm just thinking.
I dig this a lot. I like this a lot. Yeah, Sean, it is well balanced. I think it's got man, and I do love that there is that I don't want to say syrup because it's not like maple syrup. I'm not getting maple, but there is just this lingering. It coats your mouth and your tongue, and it just stays there.
it coats the glass.
Yeah,
too.
yep.
Like you have like a syrupy legs that just
Yeah.
If you
I like that I get the spirit without the heat. There's a
Mhm.
little heat there.
Yeah, a little bit.
You want a little bit of heat in your stouts, but it's not. I get more spirit than heat.
If I get like a little hint of bourbon, I want some of that liquor burn, a little bit of heat. You know what I mean?
Just a little. I don't want a lot.
Yeah, I kind of want a lot, and then I want it to be bitter.
That's you. That's you.
It to be
Well,
hot and bitter.
The barley wine that you tried, that was technically a homebrew because it had been made almost 2 years before you had it, and we weren't even close to being open at that point. But I did brew Villain again. We had it on tap for a while, non-barrel aged. We also filled a barrel with it back in like August of last year. So getting close to 1 year on that. We'll see how it actually is tasting like it almost might be ready at a year. I typically go longer, but if the beer tastes right, then we also have our wheat wine, which is Hero. That's barrel resting too. Plus we have draft of the non-barrel, like straight version.
I just had a Bourbon County. I was like going through all my my fridge beers, just trying to like go through as many as I can.
You're trying to move stock.
Yes, and I did a wheat wine, and I think that was another one where like I had already had like 4 beers, probably like bombers of stouts or something, and I got to that one. I might have actually drank that whole beer. I think I drank the whole thing.
You probably
Bourbon County wheat wine.
Yeah.
I have one. I haven't opened it yet. I don't think I've ever had the Bourbon County wheat wine. Like
Yeah,
I have it, but I haven't tried it.
It's good. Like I mean, I don't know what year that was. It was like 2018 or.
You drank it at 7 a.m. watching F1 on Sunday. Don't lie.
It was probably like 7:30, and like I was asleep at 7:45. You know what I mean? Just completely knocked out. So Jeff said it sounds like he would really like that beer. Hint, hint. But we're coming up on an hour here. Let's talk about what's new and exciting. Is there anything new coming up that you want to plug, or anything exciting happening that you want to let people know about?
No, just the release of this beer. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks if I can get labels and get to it. I know we've been really busy with stuff, but I really want to release that. Beer Garden. If you come to Lancaster, come check it out. You get to experience 2 breweries at one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think of anything else that we're working on right now. There's tons of stuff going on.
And just as a reminder, when people come here and they find this spot, even if it's not the Beer Garden, if they come here, what can they expect, right? It's a nice tap room. You got, a dozen, I don't know, what is that, like 8 chairs?
We got 6 seats at an L-shaped bar, and we have 8 4-top tables. So it's not a huge space. It's cozy.
But it's nice. It's cozy.
It's not too tight.
It's got a good feel. I love the subway tile. I love the lighting in here. It just feels
Plenty of electricity.
Plenty of electricity. But and then again with food, you usually have a food truck that's doing things.
We have a lot of. We're kind of food diverse. It could change at any given time.
Sure.
We are looking to potentially run a small food program out of here. We don't have a full kitchen, but there's a lot that we can do with what we'd have. So
nice.
Monday nights we have Pizza Tent, which is like a local legend here.
That's another thing I thought was unusual. You're open on Mondays.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't. So we are popping on Mondays.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, you're closed.
It's nonstop for 3 to 4 hours on Monday. And Pizza Tent is
like a Lancaster legend.
Well, he just started like probably a year ago, and he has a huge following now. He basically had a proper pizza oven fabricated in Italy, had it shipped over here and attached to a trailer that he hauls around. So he literally has a wood fire oven.
That's amazing.
He makes his own sourdough. We're talking about pizza earlier.
Yeah.
We're coming full circle on the pizza conversation. Great sourdough crust, fermented mozzarella. Comes up with some really cool recipe ideas, and it's top notch. Yeah, I've had a lot of good pizza. Some of the best pizza I've had. He's doing a good job.
It always comes back to pizza.
It always comes back to pizza. That's the thing. I don't even have anything. We're going to do toast of the week. Are you prepared?
I am.
I'm not, so I'm going to let you go first. But I'm going to
That's
let
good.
you know,
won't
Adam.
Steal mine.
Yeah, toast of the week is usually you can toast something that you're happy about that you want to just give a shout out to. You can do burnt toast if you want to just like smash somebody or throw somebody under the bus. You can do that as well. But you'll go last. So the two of us will go first. But we're gonna do toast of the week for this episode.
How about a beer? Woo! Might Be Brews presents the toast of the week. Oh my God, dude.
So I'm going first. It's this will be in the past if you're listening on Monday, but in the future if you're listening today. John likes it when I talk time space continuum.
I'm like the multiverse of madness.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. There's plenty of great father figures in my life, friends of mine that are great fathers to their kids. So it's very simple. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you enjoy it.
Killed it. You nailed it. Good job. And of course, in true fashion,
You have no beer?
I have no beer to toast with. I do that every single time. You got a little bit there, Adam.
You want me to go get you some?
No, that's all right. I got enough. All right. Well, I mean, this is how bad I am. I feel like I'm doing a Kevin Kinderman move here. Where's the come on, Kev. He was supposed to have content every time he showed up. He never had anything.
Never had anything.
I'm doing the same thing. So I'm flipping through my phone, looking at my recent text messages. I'm going to give my shout out, my toast of the week to Chris Nelson. A lot of people in the beer community or in the beer sharing groups on Facebook and things like that probably know Chris Nelson. He's a realtor, a beer guy, but he's turned out to be a really cool friend and a really good guy. And so shout out to Chris. Chris has been a big help to me lately. More on that to come in maybe the next episode. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Definitely on the socials before then.
Yeah, probably look out on the social media stuff. But next episode we'll have like a big news drop.
But he's also goddamn Martin Scorsese.
Yes, he puts out the best internet content about anything.
Yeah, I watched it like 7 times.
Yeah, whatever it is, he's got stories, reels, YouTube videos, all kinds of content. But great guy, great friend, beer dude. So anyway, cheers to Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
That's going out to him. Luckily, that's the same on both. I just hit the green one thinking I knew what I was doing. So Adam, you have anything?
I do. I have. I'm going to start with a burnt toast and end with a real toast.
Nice.
Oh, I love a burnt toast.
It's a good story. Well, so the burnt toast. What is it? Were you supposed to say something specific for a burnt toast?
No,
Say
silly.
no toast to you.
No, just
No.
No.
All right, the burnt toast is my glycol chiller that failed on me, and my beer started getting warm this
Oh
week.
no.
Oh, fuck you, chiller.
And then my toast is to the gentleman named Tim Weaver, who fixed it for me.
Nice.
No,
Perfect. Full circle.
you're
The beer is cold again.
Tim, great work.
That's very important.
Man, I got to give a shout out and a toast to this Jason because I feel like I got to look that picture up.
Oh
That
yeah,
doesn't-
so the guy, is it Jason, the one that was on? I feel
Yeah.
like there's several questions that didn't get answered. So I want to say, just for the record, if there are questions that I didn't answer, because I'm still thinking about the best name.
yeah, right.
But feel free to DM on the socials for Cartel and Instagram or Facebook because they go directly to me. I can answer those.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure you guys look them up. Is it just at Cartel Brewing, Cartel
Mhm.
Brewing and Blending, something like that?
At Cartel Brewing on
Perfect.
Instagram, at Cartel Brewing, or Facebook.com/Cartel Brewing.
Yeah.
It's the same handle for both.
Awesome.
I'm not doing much other than those two for right now. Maybe a Twitter someday. Who knows?
Don't do that.
Yeah. I don't really do Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter scares.
Instagram and Facebook.
Twitter's scary. I agree. I'm not.
And Untapped.
I'm too old.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I'm too old for that probably. Jason, I think this is maybe one of the first times Jason's interacted, but he's been fantastic.
He's
Constantly,
MVP today.
he is MVP. We got to
MVP
make
of the
that a
chat.
new.
Why
we
don't
gotta
we
do that.
toast Jason right now?
Yeah, let's toast Jason. Jason, toast to you, buddy.
I don't have any beer.
And,
Look
uh,
at you. We got a little bit.
Maybe
a little
if I-
bit for you, Jason.
Can I do a
And
little
we
trip of
appreciate it.
everything?
and burnt toast to Fish. You gotta step up your game.
Yeah, Fish, where you been?
Jason is all over this. Fish, I don't know what you're doing.
Fish hopped in the chat and asked Brett how Laura and the kid are doing.
Yeah, they're talking to each other in the chat, not to us.
Yeah. Why don't you just text that guy instead
Bullshit
of
is this?
hijacking our
Our chat.
our fucking chat to catch up with your friends. But anyway, where's the outro? Here we go. Guys, if you took the time to watch, listen, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff. Look up Cartel Brewing online, and we will see you next time. Where's the audio? All right, we're done. We're still live, but the podcast is done recording.
Christopher wants you to do a TikTok channel. You
Yeah,
know
Christopher Sweat. He says you got to start TikToking.
No.
No.
No, he can come. He's in my homebrew club.
Okay, nice. Awesome.
You're nominated, Chris, to start the Cartel TikTok channel.
There you go.
Chris can just put Lederhosen on and just do a bunch of videos on TikTok
With a terrible German accent.
endorsed by Cartel.
There we go. Awesome. Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thanks for hosting us,
absolutely. Thank you.
everything. It's
Thank
been
you, guys.
fantastic. Everybody watching, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We appreciate you guys. And look out. It's not next week, right? We're off next week.
Yes.
We'll be back on the 30th.
We'll be back on the 30th. Check
back on
out
the 30th.
check out the socials. There's going to be something a little special coming up on the 30th. Check it out.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody. We'll see you.